So just continuing on with the tasting, and so I'm enjoying all of them. And like I said, so far my favorites, as I'm kind of going back and forth, I'm not as much of an herbal tea type of person. This potpourri smells amazing. It has the best scent of all of them. And it does have some green tea infusion, but it's got also a lot of chamomile, in which I'm not as much into chamomile, but it's a potpourri, so it's a mixture of a variety of plants, is what he was saying, like herbs. And these are nice, like the white tea is very nice, but if it doesn't have caffeine or it has minimal caffeine, like as a tea drinker, like I enjoy a nice caffeine. I mean, I enjoy a nice tea for flavor and for scent, but I want to have a bit of a caffeine. And I like what I would call the ride of high quality green tea, like that brings a wakefulness and an awareness, kind of like what the Zen monks would have gone for, and why they would have, the Shan monks, the Zen monks of ancient times, they would have gone for a nice quality green tea for the ride, and connected to the meditation sessions, the all day, all night meditation session. So as I'm going through this though, let me just focus here on these three that I prefer so far, which are a green tea, emerald organic green tea, and then here we've got this, this is a second flush Darjeeling, which I really love these two. And then this Moonlight Spirit is quite nice. And a thought occurred to me as I was sipping it. It's very subtle, its scent and its flavor. But what it reminds me of is, I was thinking about how around the world there are many springs that in areas that were called Sweetwater, and I was thinking that maybe that our ancestors would have gone to certain springs and noticed that, because it's pure living water when it's unpolluted, and we're going back to ancient times. So the first teas that we would have ever drank technically were probably spring water, and maybe from hot springs and sometimes cold springs where it had plant infusions, like the variety of plants that would grow in that area would infuse the water with flavors, with herbal properties, medicinal properties, and maybe encourage certain states, psychological states, spiritual states. So this Moonlight Spirit, it really, it just hit me when I tried it. It reminds me of a high quality spring water. It does have a slightly herbal flavor to it, but it makes me think and I just had the realization that the first teas we ever drank, of course, the stories are that caffeinated teas from the camellia, I believe that's what it's called, that it developed out of China. And there are stories associated with emperors and Zen monks like Bodhidharma, like his eyelids formed the first green tea plant or whatever. But anyway, it's it reminds me that in ancient times we would have already regularly, especially when it was cold, we would have heated up water, and we would have infused water with a variety of plants, but we would have found certain springs to have already had infusions within them. So just consider that. It might sound far out, but I think there's something to it, and I'd never thought about that before this. So it's interesting that this tea tasting is kind of inspiring me to think about something in a fresh way, and I appreciate that. And that's one of the benefits of quality teas, especially green teas from my experience. Like I said, I enjoy the ride of a quality green tea. All right, so it looks like we might have something else. Oh, very nice. Very nice. Okay. Yeah, so I enjoy this Moonlight Spirit. It just got me thinking. It's a first flush as well. And the thing is, this one, I did not catch whether he said this was a white tea or a green tea. And then there's also a difference in fermentation. So the white tea is unfermented. And see, so this says green and coppery leaves and buds with fragrant nose. And it's light yellow. So it does have it. So this is a green tea. Huh. So I enjoy this. I would drink this again, if I went to a tea shop or to a coffee house that had it. But I'm partial to Darjeeling, and I'm partial to green teas. So I think I'm going to continue on, and so we'll likely purchase a green or a Darjeeling. I mean, we are in Darjeeling, so, but this is quite nice. And I think it's also interesting that Darjeeling is named after Darjeeling Monastery, and Dorje is Vajra. So it's, the lightning bolt and related to the lightning bolt vehicle. And so it's like, even though it's not Zen Buddhism, there are stories that that Vajrayana had influences from ancient Shan or Zen Buddhism in Tibet. And so it's like, and I don't know when tea entered into Tibet, and I don't know what the role is within meditation. I know as I've gone to monasteries over the years, quite often they will take breaks and drink Tibetan tea with black tea leaves within it. So I don't know if you happen to know a bit about the history or some sources or links or whatever, please let me know. I'm interested in the usage of teas and coffees in spiritual rituals, attainments, and the like. This would be interesting to me. So I'm still preferring this one. Let me try this one more time, the Darjeeling. Yes, it's quite nice. Yesterday, upon arriving in Darjeeling, we went and we had a pot of Darjeeling tea that was one of the best pots of teas I've had in a long while. Maybe it was because we had a long 5-hour journey, and I felt it felt amazing afterward. It had a beautiful ride to it, and we just driven through tea plantations from Sikkim, and it took longer because it wasn't the typical route, because Sikkim had some serious disasters from monsoonal downpours which broke a dam in the north, and so we had to go a different route. But the first thing we did arriving in Darjeeling is like right where our taxi jeep stopped, there was a little cafe, and we just pulled over to try to figure out where we were going to stay, and had a pot of tea. And it wasn't like a famous place or anything, but it was amazing. And that's one of the beautiful things in a place like Darjeeling, is even a lot of normal cafes seem to have like some quality tea, just because it's cheaper here, because it's local. I would love to spend more time in this region, like as a tea lover. I'm not a connoisseur, but I appreciate it. So let's go ahead and cut this short. Have a peaceful day, and enjoy a nice cup of tea, and be mindful with it. Sip it, enjoy it, and then do something creative if it has a nice ride to it. Be happy, people. Ending with a Muscatel Queen, the second flush Darjeeling.